The planet Zethra was bathed in pale violet light, its twin suns casting long shadows across the crystalline towers of the capital city. Queen Lysera walked along the balcony of her palace, her mind heavy with worry. Her daughter, Princess Erin, the only heir to the throne, had vanished without a trace during a diplomatic mission to a neighboring system. The alien court buzzed with speculation, but no one had answers. The queen's heart ached, for this was not just a political loss, it was a personal one. Lysera had always been a strong ruler, feared and respected across the galaxy. Her voice could command fleets, and her decisions could shift entire planetary economies. Yet now, she felt powerless. She closed her eyes, sensing faint traces of her daughter in the cosmos, a connection that only a mother could feel. It was faint, fragile, and distant, but enough to drive her to action, Your Majesty. One of her advisors said cautiously, bowing low. We have sent ships to the neighboring sectors, but the signals are too weak. The child may have drifted into uncharted space. Lysera turned to him, her eyes sharp and cold, yet filled with sorrow. Then we must search beyond what is charted. Do not stop until she is found. Far from Zethera, in the cold reaches of space near the asteroid belt of Virelia, Captain Ethan Kane piloted his human patrol ship with practiced precision. Ethan had been trained for higher-risk missions, but nothing in his experience could prepare him for what was about to unfold. While scanning the area, his sensors picked up a faint distress signal. It was irregular, almost imperceptible, coming from a damaged shuttle drifting near a cluster of jagged asteroids. Ethan adjusted his course, feeling a spark of curiosity mixed with duty. Let's see what we have here, he muttered. As he approached, the shuttle's hull appeared battered, streaked with scorch marks and debris. The signs of struggle were clear. Someone or something had been in serious trouble. Inside the shuttle, a young figure huddled in the corner. Her eyes widened as she saw Ethan enter. She was small, delicate, but with an aura of nobility that seemed to demand respect even in fear. Please don't hurt me, she whispered. Ethan raised his hands calmly. I'm not here to hurt you. Can you tell me what happened? The girl's voice trembled. Mercenaries. They attacked us. I escaped. Her words came out in gasps, and she clutched a small device close to her chest. Ethan nodded. You're safe now. I'll get you out of here. Quickly assessed the shuttle's systems. Most were offline. Using his engineering skills, he patched together a temporary fix, enough to stabilize the ship for a jump out of the asteroid field. As he worked, he stole glances at the girl. There was something unusual about her, the way she carried herself, even in fear. Her eyes held a depth that seemed beyond her years, and her presence gave him a sense of calm he couldn't explain. Finally, the shuttle powered enough to move. Ethan guided it carefully through the jagged rocks, dodging massive asteroids that could crush them both. The tension was high, and even a small mistake could be fatal. But Ethan's experience and human intuition kept them safe. After what felt like hours, they emerged from the asteroid field into open space. The girl exhaled in relief. Thank you, she said softly. You're welcome. Do you have a name? Ethan asked, curious. I am Erin, she replied. She didn't give her family name, though her eyes betrayed something royal, something important. Ethan didn't press. He knew some secrets were meant to be revealed in time. Meanwhile, across Zethra, Queen Lysera had dispatched her elite envoys and advanced fleets to scour the stars. Sensors probed every sector, but space was vast, and time was slipping away. Lysera sat in the command room, monitoring every signal, her mind split between hope and dread. The faint psychic link she felt with Erin tugged at her, urging her onward. Every moment Erin remained missing was agony. Back on the human ship, Ethan worked to repair the shuttle's communication systems. Erin stayed quiet for a while, watching him work with interest. She noticed his calm in danger, his methodical mind, and the way he treated her not as a fragile child, but as someone who mattered. Slowly, she began to trust him. The night in space stretched long, the stars moving slowly past the viewport. Ethan shared stories of human exploration, of distant colonies, and the challenges they faced. Erin listened, fascinated by this strange species that had survived against impossible odds. She realized that humans were not as primitive as she had been taught. They were clever, courageous, and capable of great empathy. A sudden alert broke the quiet. Mercenary ships appeared on the scanners, closing in fast. "Looks like your friends didn't give up," Ethan muttered, tightening his grip on the controls. Aaron's eyes widened. They are here. They won't get us." "Not if I can help it." Ethan activated evasive maneuvers, weaving through the debris of a nearby destroyed planet. The mercenaries fired relentlessly, but Ethan's experience and quick thinking allowed them to evade every attack. He used the terrain of space itself, asteroid fragments and energy anomalies, to outmaneuver their pursuers. After a tense chase, the last of the mercenaries retreated. Aaron let out a shaky laugh, relief flooding her features. "I didn't think anyone would come. You're safe now," Ethan said firmly. "And I'll make sure you stay that way until we find a truly safe place." As they traveled through hyperspace, Ethan began to sense that Erin's situation was more complex than a simple kidnapping. There was something about her, something important that radiated power and authority. Even though she was small and vulnerable, he decided to keep his observations to himself for now, focusing on getting her to safety. On Zithra, Queen Lysera felt a sudden surge of hope. The psychic pull was stronger, more focused. She didn't know how, but she sensed that Aaron was alive and moving closer. Her heart leaped at the thought. She gave orders to keep searching, yet a quiet certainty settled in her mind. The child was on the path to returning home. For Ethan, the journey ahead was uncertain. He did not yet know who Aaron truly was, nor did he understand the full consequences of rescuing her. But one thing was clear: he would protect her with every resource he had. The galaxy was full of dangers, but Ethan Kane was human. And humans had a way of turning impossible odds into victories. As hyperspace streaked past the viewport, Aaron finally spoke again, her voice softer now. "Why? Why are you helping me?" Ethan glanced at her. "Because it's the right thing to do. Because no one deserves to be left alone in the dark." Her eyes shimmered with something like understanding. "You are different from anyone I have known. And you are brave," Ethan replied, a small smile forming. "Brave enough to survive this far?" For the first time in days, Aaron allowed herself to relax. She didn't know who this human truly was, or what lay ahead. But she sensed that her journey was just beginning, and that perhaps, just perhaps, she had found an unexpected ally in the vastness of space. The stars blurred outside the viewport. But within the small cabin, a bond was quietly forming, one that would shape not just the fate of a lost princess, but the future of civilizations far beyond their understanding. And so, as the human ship sped through the void, carrying the lost princess toward the unknown, both Ethan and Aaron faced the beginning of a story neither could have imagined, one filled with danger, courage, and the extraordinary power of human heart and spirit. The vast darkness of space stretched endlessly before Captain Ethan Kane's ship as it glided through the silent void. Outside the viewport, stars streaked by like silver rivers, yet inside, a quiet tension filled the cabin. Princess Aaron sat on a small seat near the navigation console, her hands folded neatly in her lap. She was still shaken from her narrow escape, but there was a spark in her eyes, a determination that matched the courage she had. Displayed in the shuttle's wreck, Ethan kept his focus on the navigation systems, plotting a course that would take them far from the mercenaries' reach. Every decision was critical. One wrong calculation, and they could be caught in an uncharted asteroid field or a hidden trap. He checked the sensors, then glanced back at Aaron. "You've been very brave, Aaron," he said quietly. "Most wouldn't have survived what you did." She hesitated before replying, her voice soft. I did what I had to, but I couldn't have done it without you." Ethan shook his head. "You did more than you know. Humans may be clever, but courage comes in many forms. You showed more courage than most anyone I've met." Aaron studied him carefully. There was something different about humans, she realized. Something that set them apart from the beings she had grown up among. They were small, fragile by alien standards, yet they could face dangers that even the strongest warriors of Zithra might fear. Ethan's calm under pressure, his quick thinking, and his willingness to put himself at risk for someone else left her in awe. As the hours passed, Ethan and Aaron shared stories of their worlds. He told her about human colonies scattered across space. It's about ordinary people who had built new lives in strange, dangerous environments. Aaron spoke of Zathera, its beauty, and its advanced civilization. Though she did not reveal her royal identity, she spoke of her family with pride and love. And Ethan listened with fascination. Their calm was broken suddenly by a warning from the ship's sensors. "Incoming vessels," Ethan muttered, his eyes narrowing. On the screen, several small, fast ships closed in, clearly mercenary craft, their designs sleek and deadly. "Looks like they didn't give up," Ethan said. Aaron's eyes widened. They followed us." Ethan nodded. "They want you back. Whatever they think they can get from holding you." He tightened his grip on the controls. "We're going to make sure that doesn't happen." Ethan activated evasive maneuvers, weaving through the debris of a nearby destroyed planet. The mercenaries fired relentlessly, energy blasts streaking through space, but Ethan's human ingenuity gave him an edge. He used small gravitational anomalies, debris fields, and unpredictable course changes to outmaneuver the pursuers. Aaron held on tightly, her breath shallow, yet she felt a strange sense of trust in Ethan. Hours later, the mercenary ships finally gave up, retreating with anger and frustration. Aaron let out a shaky laugh, relief washing over her. "I thought we would be caught. You're safe now," Ethan said firmly. "At least for now." He glanced at the star map, plotting the next leg of their journey. "There's a human station not far from here. It's well outside mercenary territory. We'll rest there before we try to contact anyone who can help further." As they traveled, Aaron's curiosity grew. She watched Ethan work, noticing how he seemed to understand systems and technology instinctively. She realized that humans were not only brave, they were resourceful. They could improvise, adapt, and solve problems that even the most advanced alien races might struggle with. Ethan noticed her tension and smiled faintly. "You know, humans aren't as fragile as most people think. We may be small, but we've survived a lot. And when someone is worth protecting, we find ways to keep them safe." Aaron's gaze softened. "You care so much for someone you just met. On Zathera, people rarely risk themselves for strangers." "That's the difference," Ethan said simply. "We see each other as people first, not just roles, titles, or positions." Meanwhile, far across Zathera, Queen Lysera could sense a shift. The psychic bond she felt with Aaron grew stronger, clearer. She did not yet know where her daughter was, but she felt the relief and calm coming from her presence. Her court marveled at the queen's sudden change in demeanor. Her usual stoic, commanding face softened, and tears occasionally welled in her eyes. Her advisors whispered among themselves, aware of the rare display of emotion in their otherwise unshakable queen. Lysera herself did not speak. She only focused on the bond, following it as best she could. It was subtle, like a thread connecting mother and child across light years. She knew her daughter was alive, though trapped somewhere beyond their reach. Hope, a feeling she rarely allowed herself, began to bloom. Back on the human ship, Ethan and Aaron reached the human station, a massive orbiting structure that hummed with activity. Docking was routine, but both felt a weight lifted as they moved into the station. Aaron had never seen anything like it. The scale, the lights, the efficient bustle of humans working together in harmony. They were escorted to a secure area, where Aaron could rest and receive medical attention. Ethan stayed nearby, keeping a careful watch. While she slept, he reviewed the logs of her shuttle, trying to understand the sequence of events that had led to her abduction. Pieces of the puzzle slowly fit together: mercenaries, hidden agendas, and a larger network that threatened not only Aaron, but potentially others. When Aaron awoke, she found Ethan waiting patiently. "You should rest," he said kindly. "But I need to know more about what happened. There's more at play here than just a simple kidnapping, isn't there?" Aaron nodded slowly. "Yes. They wanted something from me. I don't know exactly what, but it involved my position." She hesitated, then added softly, "I cannot tell you everything." "But I trust you," Ethan nodded, accepting her words. Trust was earned in moments like these, not forced. "Then we'll face it together. No one will harm you while I can stop it." Over the next few days, Ethan and Aaron prepared for the journey back towards Zathora. Aaron taught Ethan about Zitharan customs, languages, and symbols that might help them gain safe passage. In turn, Ethan trained Aaron in human techniques for stealth, strategy, and survival in unpredictable situations. They grew closer. A partnership formed out of necessity but strengthened by respect and understanding as they plotted their course. Aaron felt a strange excitement building. She had always thought of humans as fragile and limited, but now she saw their potential. Ethan's courage, ingenuity, and morality were unlike anything she had encountered in Zithra's elite circles. Perhaps there was something extraordinary about humanity after all. During a quiet moment, Aaron asked Captain Kane, "Why do you do this? Why risk your life for someone you barely know?" Ethan looked out at the stars. Because it's right. Because courage isn't just about strength. It's about choosing to help when it matters most. And you matter more than you realize. Aaron's eyes shimmered. She did not fully understand the depth of his words, but she felt the sincerity behind them. It was not flattery or strategy, it was truth. As they neared Zitharan space, the tension rose again. Sensors picked up patrol ships, and Ethan realized they would need to approach carefully. He studied the ships, identifying their patterns, and prepared a plan to avoid detection. "We have to be smart about this," he explained to Aaron. "We can't just rush in. Zathara's security is tight, and we need to ensure your safety above all else." Aaron nodded, trusting him completely. She had survived the mercenaries, the asteroid fields, and the cold void of space. And now she faced the final challenge, the return home. Her heart ached to see her mother, to feel the warmth of family again. Yet she also felt a sense of awe for this human who had brought her this far. Meanwhile, Queen Lysera watched her sensors, her advisors reporting no contact yet. But the psychic bond was unmistakable. Her daughter was near, alive, and on a path home. Tears welled in her eyes, a mixture of relief and anticipation. She felt a strange hope, fragile, yet powerful. Growing in her heart, Ethan piloted the ship cautiously, avoiding patrols and using every bit of his experience to remain unseen. Finally, they emerged into orbit above Zathara. The planet's crystalline towers sparkled beneath them, reflecting the twin suns in brilliant arrays of light. Aaron gasped softly, tears forming in her eyes. "Home," she whispered. Ethan smiled faintly. "Almost there. One more step and you'll be safe." They prepared for landing, aware that the final moments could be the most dangerous. Patrol ships could still intercept them, and even if they succeeded, they would face scrutiny from Zithra's officials. Yet both felt a quiet confidence. They had overcome impossible odds together, and the bond formed in the darkness of space would see them through this final stage. As the landing gears engaged, Aaron's hands gripped Ethan's shoulder briefly. "Thank you for everything," she whispered. "You don't need to thank me," Ethan replied softly. "Just promise me you'll stay safe, no matter what comes next." With the ship descending towards Zathora, the stars twinkled in silent witness to a journey of courage, trust, and the extraordinary power of human spirit. The orbit of Zathara shimmered under the light of its twin suns as Captain Ethan Kane's ship descended toward the capital city. Below, the crystalline towers gleamed like scattered jewels across the violet landscape. For Princess Aaron, every second brought her closer to home. To her mother, Queen Lysera, and the warmth of family she had longed for since her disappearance, Ethan guided the ship. Carefully through the landing corridors, aware that Zitharan security was tight, any misstep could provoke suspicion or hostility. Yet he felt confident. Every challenge he had faced, the asteroid fields, mercenaries, and the perilous journey across uncharted space, had prepared him for this moment. Aaron sat quietly beside him, her hands folded neatly. She had grown stronger through the journey, not just physically, but in understanding the resilience and ingenuity of humans. She realized now that bravery was not the absence of fear, but the choice to act despite it. And Ethan had exemplified that in every action. As the ship's landing bay opened, a contingent of Zitharan guards approached. Their movements were precise, almost mechanical. Yet Aaron could sense their tension. They had been expecting her, yet the appearance of a human soldier with her was unexpected. One of the senior guards, tall and imposing, spoke first. "Princess Aaron, is this human your companion?" Ethan stepped forward, keeping his hands visible. "Yes, I am Captain Ethan Kane. I found Princess Aaron in a damaged shuttle, drifting near an asteroid field. I brought her here safely." The guards exchanged wary glances. They were trained to protect the royal family, but they had not anticipated a human capable of navigating the dangers of uncharted space and defeating mercenaries with such skill. Their training left them cautious yet impressed. Aaron rose from her seat, her small figure standing confidently beside Ethan. "He saved me," she said simply. "Without him, I would not have survived." The guard's eyes widened. Such a statement carried immense weight. In Zathera, survival was a mark of worth, and to credit a human with it was unusual. Even remarkable word of the arrival quickly reached the palace. Queen Lysera, standing in the grand throne room, felt a surge of energy through her psychic bond with Aaron. She had known her daughter was alive, yet the clarity she now felt was undeniable. Lysera moved swiftly to the central balcony overlooking the landing bay, her royal robes flowing like liquid silver. The moment she saw Aaron step from the ship, her breath caught. The princess was safe. She was unharmed, though her expression carried the weight of recent trials. And beside her stood a humana being Lysera had not anticipated, yet one who had carried her child through unimaginable dangers. Lysera descended the stairs with haste, her advisors following but maintaining distance, sensing the queen's emotional state. When she reached the landing bay, she stopped for a heartbeat. Staring at Ethan, tears welled in her eyes as she absorbed the sight of the human who had returned her daughter. Lysera's voice trembled, soft and unsteady. "You returned her to me," Ethan bowed respectfully. "Your Majesty, I did what anyone would do. I only ensured her safety." The queen shook her head, disbelief and awe mingling in her expression. "No, not anyone. You are. Extraordinary, brave, wise, and kind. You risked everything for her." Aaron ran to her mother, throwing her arms around Lysera. The queen held her tightly, tears flowing freely, a rare display of emotion that none in the court had ever witnessed. The bond between mother and daughter was palpable, a force that seemed to fill the landing bay with warmth. Lysera looked at Ethan again, her eyes filled with gratitude and respect. "Your actions have shown me the strength of humanity. I underestimated your courage, your honor, and your heart. You have not only returned my daughter, but you have also restored my faith in what is possible." Ethan smiled humbly. "I only did what I thought was right, Your Majesty. I could not leave her in danger." The queen's advisors approached cautiously, curiosity and skepticism in their expressions. "Majesty," one said, "this human. He navigated uncharted space, defeated mercenaries, and ensured the princess's survival. What honor shall we bestow upon him?" Lysera raised a hand, silencing them. "He needs no titles, no gifts, no accolades," she said firmly. "His bravery speaks for itself, but we will recognize him in ways that honor the courage and integrity he has shown. This is not merely for the human, but to celebrate the virtues that all species should aspire to possess." Aaron looked at Ethan with admiration. "Mother, he is more than a soldier. He is my friend. He is the reason I am here today." The queen nodded, her eyes softening. She turned to Ethan once more. "Captain Kane, you have my eternal gratitude. You have done what few could even imagine. You have bridged the gap between our worlds with your courage and your heart. For that, Zathera will always remember you." Ethan's response was modest. "I did not do it for recognition. I did it because it was the right thing to do. That is enough for me." The tension in the landing bay began to lift as the Zithran guards relaxed. They had witnessed a human act with integrity, bravery, and intelligence that surpassed even their most advanced training. Some exchanged quiet whispers, acknowledging that humanity, though small and fragile, could inspire even the most powerful alien civilizations. Lysera invited Ethan and Aaron to the palace. where a private chamber had been prepared for them. The queen wanted time to speak with her daughter, and with the human who had demonstrated such extraordinary courage. As they walked through the crystalline halls, Erin felt a sense of wonder at the beauty and history of her home. Yet her thoughts remained on Ethan. She realized that humans had qualities. Zitherans could admire qualities she hoped to share with her people in the private chamber. Lysera spoke with Ethan in quiet, measured tones. "I must ask, Captain Kane, what drives you to risk everything for others? What makes a human so remarkable?" Ethan considered the question carefully. "We face dangers every day, Your Majesty. But courage is not about fearlessness. It's about choosing to do what is right, even when the odds are against you, and when someone's life is at stake. Well, that makes the choice simple." Lysera nodded slowly, absorbing the weight of his words. She realized that humans, despite their limitations, possessed a moral compass and a sense of empathy that could inspire even the most advanced civilizations. In Ethan, she saw the embodiment of these qualities of being small in stature but immense in courage and honor. Erin, watching the exchange, felt a deep respect for Ethan. He had guided her safely across dangers she had never imagined, treated her with respect, and never underestimated her. His actions had shown her the best of humanity. The queen made a decision. "Ethan Kane, you will be honored not just by me, but by all of Zithera. Your bravery will be recorded in our history, and your name will be spoken with reverence. And you will always be welcome here, for you have earned a place among us through your courage and your heart." Ethan bowed again, humbled by the honor. "Thank you, Your Majesty. I am grateful, but I only ask that Princess Erin be safe. That is all I desire." Lysera smiled through her tears. "She is safe because of you. That is more than enough." Word of Ethan's heroism spread quickly across the Cythera. The story of a human soldier who navigated uncharted space, outwitted mercenaries, and returned the lost princess to her mother captivated the population. Humans, once regarded with curiosity but little expectation, were now seen as beings of extraordinary potential. The Queen's court began to consider alliances, trade, and mutual understanding between Zithera and human civilizations. Inspired by one human's courage, Erin spent the next days reunited with her mother, sharing stories of the journey and of Ethan's bravery. She spoke of the dangers they had faced, the choices he had made, and the unwavering courage he had shown. Lysera listened intently, her heart swelling with pride and gratitude. She realized that the human had not only saved her daughter, but had also shown her a path toward understanding, respect, and cooperation between species. Finally, the day came when Ethan prepared to leave the palace and return to human space. Erin accompanied him to the landing bay, her eyes bright with emotion. "Captain Kane, I will never forget what you have done," she said. "You don't need to," Ethan replied. "Just promise me you'll stay safe and that you'll continue to be brave, just as you have been." Erin smiled, tears glistening in her eyes. "I promise." Lysera appeared as well, her regal presence softened by gratitude and relief. "Ethan Kane," she said, her voice steady but warm, "you have my eternal thanks. You are welcome on Zithera whenever you wish. Your courage and honor will not be forgotten." Ethan nodded respectfully. "Thank you, Your Majesty. I am honored beyond words." As the ship lifted off, Erin waved from the landing bay, her mother standing beside her. Ethan looked back at the shining towers of Zithera, feeling a quiet satisfaction. He had faced dangers, used his skills and courage, and protected a life that was precious. In doing so, he had earned the respect of an entire civilization in the days that followed. The bond between humans and Zitherans grew stronger. Trade agreements were initiated, cultural exchanges began, and the story of Ethan Kane became legend among both species. Erin continued to honor her human rescuer, and Queen Lysera often spoke of him as an example of what humanity could achieve when guided by courage, morality, and heart.